present in person because he is in the hospital, but 11 Supreme Court lawyers were there presenting his case in court today.
This also appears to be a kind of, a kind of impact on the entire case, because this anti-India rhetoric, this anti-Hindu rhetoric on the streets of Dhaka had even taken over some kind of impact on the courts as well, because the lawyer who was representing Mr. Chinmoy Das in the first hearing was opposed, then he was attacked, then he was hospitalized, and yet it appeared that Mr. Das will not get any legal representation in the court. But today, 11 Supreme Court lawyers represented Mr. Das in the bail hearing. So it certainly seems that situation has improved, but not improved as much that will give Mr. Das any relief, because he was led by Advocate Apurva Kumar Bhattacharjee, the legal team which defended Mr. Chinmoy. But the sedition case and the allegations of disrespecting Bangladesh's national flag has certainly not gone in his favor in this particular case.
Right, of course, advocates have also been presenting his case, arguing that his health has been deteriorating.
These issues are also sort of shared with the court. The lawyers representing him shared all sides of the stories. But when it comes to granting the bail, the court perhaps didn't agree with it, and we'll have to wait for the arguments, or what kind of arguments were presented by the public prosecutor, and what was the observation of the courts, or the courts there which denied him the bail, to finally reach a conclusion to see that what has been the court's view when it comes to the involvement or allegations being put on Mr. Das.
Right. Thank you so much, Ghazali, for getting us those details. We also have Saurabh joining us. Saurabh, take us through the proceedings in court today. It is a very sad day because, of course, the Chinmoy Krishna Das Brahmachari, the former ISKCON leader, has again been denied bail.
Well, if you've been, of course, following the proceedings, there were legal experts who earlier in the day also had said, and experts also from Bangladesh who had said that when there is, of course, a case that is, like a charge of sedition, then, of course, the lower courts usually don't grant bail. But what was happening earlier was that the case was stuck in the lower court, that there wasn't an opportunity for lawyers to make an argument. Once there is, of course, an opportunity for lawyers to make an argument, the court can announce its decision, and then, of course, it can be appealed against as well. Now, that is exactly what has happened today. Chinmoy Krishna Das's bail plea has been rejected by a court in Chittagong in Bangladesh, but he will now have the opportunity to appeal before the High Court. The lawyers were able to appear. We don't know what exactly the arguments were, but many in Bangladesh, including many legal experts, have said that, these trumped-up charges, these are all trumped-up charges of sedition, to keep someone from the minority community in jail for a prolonged period. And that is something that has happened there, and of course that is something that perhaps will continue for some time before actually he is able to secure bail, possibly from a higher court. But that, of course, now is possible because the avenue for approaching a higher court is opened up. Earlier, this case wasn't being heard. It was just being postponed because there were threats. There were lawyers who were not allowing lawyers to appear on behalf of Chinmoy Krishna Das. This morning also, when we were reporting, we heard people from Bangladesh say that the bail was unlikely. But what's important is process. That due process also was not happening. Today, of course, that process has happened, and of course, whatever.
ये बहुत ही दुखद है आज।
क्या लग रहा है क्यों ऐसा हुआ?
ये तो एक्चुअली डिटेल्ड ऑर्डर देखने के बाद ही पता चलेगा कि किस ग्राउंड पर उनके बेल को रिजेक्ट किया गया है। लेकिन पूरा विश्व की नज़र इस पर थी। हम जानते हैं कि किस तरह ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट से लेकर अमेरिकन पॉलिटिशियंस भी इस विषय पर चर्चा कर रहे थे, और सभी लोग चिन्मय कृष्ण दास के अरेस्ट को लेकर बहुत चिंतित थे। और एक ब्रह्मचारी जो लास्ट 40-42 दिन से जेल में है, एक साधु जिसकी तबीयत भी ठीक नहीं है, ये सुनने में आ रहा है, क्योंकि तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, उसको इस तरह जेल में कन्फाइन करके रखना ये बहुत ही दुखद है। और हम सब जानते हैं कि चिन्मय कृष्ण प्रभु पूरे जो माइनॉरिटीज है बांग्लादेश के, उनके वो चेहरे बन गए थे और चेहरे बने हुए हैं, और पूरे जो माइनॉरिटीज उनको एक आशा की किरण की तरह देखते हैं, क्योंकि उनकी आवाज को वो रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। नेक्स्ट एक्शन तो उनके जो लॉयर हैं वो लोग निश्चय ही जो ऑर्डर है उसको पढ़कर उनको नेक्स्ट स्टेप लेंगे।
And breaking news coming in regard to an attack that's taken place in New York City. There was a mass shooting that took place, another New Year's Eve shooting that's rocked the United States. At least 10 people have been injured. They were shot at during the celebrations that were taking place on New Year's Day. It is a nightclub in which this mass shooting has been reported, a gunfire that took place near the Amazura nightclub. And we have my colleague Vishal joining us. Vishal, get us an update as to the number of people who came under that attack and what is the update as far as their health is concerned. And this is very concerning given the fact that there have been two attacks that we've been reporting since early this morning. One that took place, when we're talking about that attack in Vegas, and the other attack that took place in New Orleans, and now in New York City as well.
So these are early, minutes of the attack, and the reports are just trickling in. So the latest reports say that about 10 people have been injured, but they also add that these are minor injuries and almost all of them are expected to survive. As you've been mentioning that the club called Amazura was attacked right outside the nightclub. A person fired upon about 10 people, 10, 11 people, and all of them have been injured, and they've been taken to the local hospitals, different hospitals there. So this attack particularly happened in Queens, and inside Queens there is an area called Jamaica where this happened. It happened at around 11:25 p.m. local time in the last 1 or 2 hours India time. So it can be noted that in the last 24 to 36 hours there has been a spate of violence incidents that has rocked the US. So this is not related to the New Orleans incident or the Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas, but nonetheless this is a series of shocks that has rattled the nation. The point to be noted here is that on special occasions such as the weekend or the New Year, the US is sort of prone to these mass shootings. A lot of these mass shootings tend to happen during the weekend and on special occasions. So it doesn't really come as that big of a surprise, but the fact that New Orleans attack and the Cybertruck explosion happened in the last 24 hours, this does seem to add to the whole problem.
Well, Vishal, one can't help but link all these incidents that have taken place. You said that, of course, the times of, when there are celebrations involved, there are certain people who perhaps come out in protest. They come out and attack others who are perhaps celebrating. But these attacks do seem to be linked, especially the one between New Orleans and the one that's taken place in Las Vegas.
So initial investigation is still on as far as the New Orleans and the Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas is concerned. Authorities are exploring various angles to it. The fact that Cybertruck is manufactured by Tesla, so whether or not there is there's a link with Musk, or the fact that the explosion happened right in front of the Trump hotel, so there could be a Trump angle as well. So, or whether the fact that the New Orleans attack and this attack and this explosion, they are connected or not. So various levels of investigations are on as we speak. So far there is just one link between the New Orleans and the Las Vegas incident. The fact that the same app was used to hire both the vehicles that were used in these separate incidents. So that's the only link so far that has been established. But as far as the motive is concerned, nothing is concrete as we speak. So that will have to be investigated further by the authorities.
Right, of course, that same, rental vehicles that were used from the same company is sort of, linking the two attacks. But this also attack that's taken place in New York on the same very day, hours apart from each other, the third such attack that we're talking about in the United States, this shooting incident that's taken place where at least 10 to 11 people were shot at. But fortunately, from what we're hearing, this is just preliminary information that's coming out, that they have been taken to various hospitals, Vishal, but they're said to be somewhat stable in comparison to other attacks that have taken place in various other parts of the United States.
That is correct. So as we've been reporting that this is not related to, so far it's not related to the previously mentioned incidents that has rocked the US in the last 36 hours. But so far the authorities have said that and various US media have reported this. They have not officially confirmed, but the various US media organizations have been saying that none of the injuries are life-threatening, and almost all of the people who have been injured due to this mass shooting, they are expected to survive. And as we've been reporting, about 10 to 11 people were injured in this attack, and this happened in this area in Queens, Jamaica to be precise, and happened around 11:25 p.m. That was about two and a half hours before India. So all of that will have to be explored as to whether there's a link between all these incidents or what's the identity of this mass shooter. That is also to be revealed.
Right, Vishal, of course, thank you so much for getting us all those details in regard to at least 10 to 11 people who were shot at outside this nightclub in the Queens area of New York City last night, just 2 to 3 hours ago. Do remember, this is morning for us, but of course it's night for New York City. All victims for now are expected to survive that attack that's taken place. Do remember, this is the third attack that we're reporting from on the coming out of the United States on the very first day of the new year. We will keep tracking the story and coming back to you with more on that. For now, we're slipping into a very short break.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
The year that was, when India welcomed Ram, when India decided,
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी,
when Jammu and Kashmir turned a historic leaf,
as Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir,
when India mourned, when India celebrated, when India protested, when India felt proud, when India scaled new highs, NDTV brought it all to you, your trusted news destination, yesterday, today and tomorrow.
today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy.
Welcome back. Let's get you the latest in the war against the Aam Aadmi Party and the centre. Now it is in fact the Agriculture Minister who's written to the Chief Minister of Delhi, Atishi, alleging insensitivity to farmers. Atashi, of course, has hit back at the BJP, claiming that the BJP, on record as far as the farmers is concerned, that the BJP goes ahead and records on the farmers. The farmers have suffered as far as the BJP is concerned. To get more on this, we have Vasudha joining us. Vasudha, take us through this war of words now that has broken out. Again, in the run-up to the elections, it is the BJP hitting out at Atashi, saying that they've, the Aam Aadmi Party has been very insensitive when it comes to the farmers.
Absolutely, Divya. This is the latest flashpoint between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, even as the battle for Delhi intensifies. The elections are expected to get announced anytime soon, and they are scheduled to happen in the first or second week of February. And it's very important to understand here that farmers are a very crucial vote bank, when it comes to both BJP and Aam Aadmi Party. Now, Shivraj Singh Chauhan has written a letter to Atishi, the Chief Minister of Delhi, alleging that the Aam Aadmi Party has always had a stepmotherly treatment towards farmers of Delhi, and the national welfare schemes or any initiative, welfare initiative that has been initiated by the centre with regard to irrigation subsidies, seeds, or for that matter, even farmers' interest has not been implemented by the Arvind Kejriwal government or the Aam Aadmi Party government. This is also a dig at the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab, which is in the dock, with the Supreme Court asking it to ensure that Mr. Thalewal, who's who's leading the farmers' protest, needs to be hospitalized soon. And Shivraj Singh Chauhan's letter makes a very clear mention of how the Aam Aadmi Party has failed the farmers and has only treated them as a vote bank. And in the field of at a time when comparative welfarism is sort of something that all parties want to indulge in, Shivraj Singh Chauhan says that farmers should be kept above all these political interests, and that Aam Aadmi Party needs to also answer to the farmers of Delhi. Well, we know that Delhi is highly urbanized, but about 10% of sustenance on food crops comes from Delhi. Delhi's Yamuna's floodplains, and these are areas like Nazafgarh and Madanpur, Chila, and other areas where there is actually farming that takes place. And Shivraj Singh Chauhan has alleged that none of the centre's welfare schemes are being implemented for the farmers of Delhi.
Right. Thank you so much, Vasudha, for joining us in this war against, this is between the Aam Aadmi Party and the centre, with Atishi saying that the farmers have suffered under the BJP. The BJP hitting out at Atishi, saying that they are insensitive to the farmers and not enough has been done. Well, moving on in this man-animal conflict that is being reported in Rajasthan, 3 people, including a woman working in the field in Rajasthan's Dausa, has suffered serious injuries after being attacked by a tiger. 3 tigers have strayed out of the Sariska Tiger Reserve, which has a total of 42 tigers. This video has emerged from Dausa, which shows the attack that's taken place. Harsha joining us. Harsha, get us details of what's really happened here. How have these tigers managed to escape the Tiger Reserve and be out at large?
Well, there is a fight for territory in reserves like Sariska and Ranthambore. The young male adults are now, Sariska and Ranthambore both are overpopulated. The young males are moving out in search of newer territories. And we can see that in the past year and a year plus, at least 4 young males have strayed out of Sariska. Now, this particular tiger, if you can see, he strayed out and he came out towards the area called Bandikwi. And yesterday in the afternoon, he attacked 3 people. There was one woman who was working in the field, and then some people came and chased him away with sticks, and he attacked them also. And then, of course, he was hiding in this mustard field. So that bolero that you can see, that bolero was out with the forest department team trying to tranquilize this tiger. And it rushed out, and obviously the tiger, you can't blame him because he obviously thought that this is another animal coming at him. So you can see he's a very large animal, and he actually came right till the top of the bolero. So the windscreen apparently has been damaged, and the forest department team had a narrow escape. They're quite shaken, of course, but they still haven't given up. In fact, efforts are still on to tranquilize this tiger because it's very close to human habitation. So he just needs to be moved away to a safer place, and that operation by the forest department is still ongoing even as we speak right now.
Right. Thank you so much, Harsha, for getting us all those details. Switching tracks now to some sports news, and it's Gautam Gambhir, the head coach, who has spoken ahead of the fifth test. He has gone on to say that debates within the dressing room should remain in the dressing room while the Indian cricket team is in safe hands. And team first ideology is what really matters. It's the performance that matters, and that is what is going to keep you in the game. The team takes precedence over the natural game, asserting that debates that take place between the coach and the team should remain in the dressing room, and that he's also gone on to add that they had some honest conversations as far as the players are concerned, as only performance can help them stay in the setup.
And honesty is the most important thing for any transition. And it is not about phasing out senior players or getting the youngsters in. Ultimately, the only thing that can keep you in that dressing room is the performance. And it starts from all of us, not only from the players, from the coaches as well. Look, there is only one tendency and there is only one discussion, that it's the team first, it's the team first ideology that matters. It's a team sport, and you got to play what the team needs you to do. That's as simple as it can get. People can play the natural game, but still, in a team sport, individuals only contribute. It's the team. If you need to play in a certain way, I think you got to do it. Every hour matters. And that is what the beauty of Test cricket is, because that's the only probably format where conditions changes after every day. Situations changes after every day, so we got to keep fighting. And that's why we love, every one of us love watching, playing, being part of the Test cricket. I know we got to fight it out, and that's probably one area where we've lacked in this series, and that's one of the reasons why probably we lack in this series as well. But again, I think we had a really decent first inning in Melbourne. Hopefully we can take that confidence from there and try and get it to Sydney. We had a decent first inning in Melbourne. We know we've got the skill set, we've got the individuals, we've got everything in that dressing room that can win a Test match here. Not only here, probably go on to do some unbelievable things in future as well. So extremely confident.
Our message is always just to back yourself, have really clear plans and back your decision making. I mean, it's always the preferred position, but you go into every Test match trying to win. So it's no doubt no different this week. But again, really happy with the last three Test matches, how the boys have played. We've shown that for most of it, we've kind of been the front runner, and that's kind of the aim again this week, is keep it up.
Rika joining us on the phone line to get us more on this. Rika, when speculations have been rife about seniors retiring, Gautam Gambhir there clearing the air on that. But has he read the right act to the team? The big question being.
It seems so that Gautam Gambhir has read the right act to the Indian cricket team, even though when he came for the press conference, he said what has come out in the press is all news, but that's not true. However, having said so, he said that he spoke about honest conversations within the team. He spoke that honest conversations can keep the team's performance up, and it can also help in transition. But clearly what he also underlined is that one thing that will keep you in the dressing room pretty much is performance. He also said that every player has to respond to the team's needs, and that means that if a time comes that you have to curb your own natural game, you do that because the team needs you to do that. The team needs you to do it at that point. Particularly, this is the case of Rishabh Pant. Also, Virat Kohli has been found chasing balls outside the fourth stump. Rohit Sharma, the captain, being in woeful form, that really hasn't helped the Indian team score. Lots of talk around Rohit Sharma retiring at the end of this season's Test. We of course have to wait and see. But the fact of the matter is that Sharma has managed to score only 31 runs in this entire Test series. 1 run more than the number of wickets that Jasprit Bumrah has taken, to just put the matter in context. So Gautam Gambhir really has to tighten the screws on the Indian cricket team if performances are to happen right now. He'll also have to wait and see what kind of reshuffling is being done in the batting order. Whether Nitish Kumar Reddy, who has had a great run of form in Melbourne, is pushed up, Kohli is pushed down in the batting order, whether Rohit Sharma himself gets a place in the final 11 of the Sydney Test, because his coming back to the team hasn't really done wonders to play Rahul, who's been batting well up top in the order. With Rohit Sharma coming in, Rahul has dropped himself in the batting order. In fact, he hasn't dropped himself. He was asked to bat lower down in the batting order, and he hasn't really performed well there. So Gautam Gambhir has to take some tough calls ahead of the Sydney Test and not leave all the conversations after, because afterthought really doesn't matter in sport.
Right, Gautam Gambhir there speaking about the team first ideology that really matters and only performance that really matters. Thank you so much, Rika, for getting us all those details. And with that, we're slipping into a short break. On the other side, we'll get you all the preparations that are underway for the Mahakumbh. That and a whole lot more. Stay with us.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam.
Welcome back. Now all preparations are underway for the Mahakumbh that will start on the 13th of this month and conclude on Mahashivratri after 45 days on the 26th of February. The state government has announced that it will provide uninterrupted power during the course of the 45-day mega cultural event. The Uttar Pradesh government has decided to install solar-powered street lights for the very first time to reduce energy consumption. Over 2,000 hybrid solar lights are being installed throughout the area at all major intersections and bridges, reconnecting the tents to the banks of the Ganga and the Yamuna in the Mahakumbh. With these installations, even in the event of a power cut, there will be no darkness and there will be uninterrupted electricity all through.
Around 40 crore pilgrims are expected to assemble here in the Mahakumbh Kshetra to take the holy dip between 13 January and 26 February, and to ensure an uninterrupted 24-hour power supply. A mega electricity plan has been prepared by the Mela administration. To talk more on this, I have with me Manoj Gupta, who is the superintending engineer in charge of the electricity operations. So Manoj जी, ये केबल्स क्या हैं, इनका कैसे इस्तेमाल होगा?
एक्चुअली पूरे मेले में इसकी जो प्लानिंग होती है, यहाँ पे एसटी लाइनें, एलटी लाइनें, सब स्टेशनों का निर्माण किया जाता है. ये पूरा एक अस्थाई शहर है जो लगभग 4000 हेक्टेयर में बसा हुआ है. इस अस्थाई शहर को 24 घंटे बिजली आपूर्ति देना, इसमें तमाम कैमरे लगे हुए हैं जिनको 24 घंटे अनवरत बिजली देनी है. लगभग 4,25,000 कैंपों को हम संयोजन देंगे जो मेले में आएंगे. विभिन्न अखाड़ों के लिए हमने अलग व्यवस्था की है. हमने इस पूरे मेले क्षेत्र में जो करीब 2 महीने के अंदर ही 1405 किलोमीटर एलटी लाइनें बनाई हैं, जो आप समझ सकते हैं कि 2 महीने के अंदर 1405 किलोमीटर लाइनों को बनाना और उन सब पे 67,000 LED स्ट्रीट लाइटों की स्थापना करना है। इसके अलावा मेले में निर्बाध विद्युत आपूर्ति रहे, जिसके दृष्टिगत हम लोगों ने 182 किलोमीटर ST लाइन बनाई है 11 kV की। और साथ ही
केबल्स रखी है मनोज जी, ये कौन सी केबल, इनका क्या इस्तेमाल
ये बेसिकली LT केबल है। जो भी हमारे अखाड़े होते हैं या बड़ी संस्थाएं होती हैं, उनको 24 घंटे कनेक्शन परिवर्तक से देने के लिए इन केबलों का इस्तेमाल होता है। इसके अलावा हमारे पास 11 kV की XLP केबल का भी इस्तेमाल किया जाता है, जो कि 3x185 स्क्वायर mm की होती हैं। इन केबलों के माध्यम से हम मेले क्षेत्र में 30 पांटून पुल बनाए जाएंगे। लगभग 10 पांटून पुलों से हम इन केबलों को इंटरकनेक्ट करते हैं, ताकि मेले में जो हम 7 132 kV से आपूर्ति ले रहे हैं, उसके साथ साथ 14 33/11 kV सब स्टेशन से आपूर्ति ले रहे हैं। इन पूरे का एक रिंग मेन सिस्टम बना हुआ है।
2024, the year that was, when India welcomed Ram, when India decided,
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी,
when Jammu and Kashmir turned a historic leaf,
as Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir,
when India mourned, when India celebrated, when India protested, when India felt proud, when India scaled new heights, NDTV brought it all to you, your trusted news destination, yesterday, today and tomorrow.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज़ को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं।
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी।
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival.
Good afternoon, you're watching the news here on NDTV with me, Tanima Biswas. We are getting you all updates coming in, especially from the US, of more incidents being reported, more tragic incidents being reported at the turn of the new year. But first up, let's take a look at the headlines. Reports of mass shooting emerges from New York. Shooting reported outside a New York nightclub. At least 10 people reported to be injured. Third tragic incident reported at the turn of the new year in the United States. FBI probes ISIS angle in the New Orleans vehicle attack which killed 15 people. New Orleans attacker identified as an Afghan war veteran. Bangladesh court denies bail to Hindu priest Chinmoy Das. 11 Supreme Court lawyers had appeared on his behalf in court. His legal team says they will appeal in the High Court. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah in a press briefing reiterates his statehood demand, says he hopes the centre will restore J&K's statehood soon. Forest Department in Rajasthan on the trail of 3 tigers which strayed out of Sariska Tiger Reserve. Troubled tigers seen targeting Forest Department teams. Mega electricity plan for Mahakumbh this year. 400 crore mega electricity infrastructure in the pipeline. Our top story, the mass shooting which has been reported in New York. These are just initial information that we are getting in on this particular incident taking place in New York. Remember, in the series, this is the third incident which is being reported, a tragic incident being reported from the US at the turn of the new year. And as per the initial information, or the latest information that we have, at least 10 people have been injured in this incident. For more on this, let me go across to my colleague Vishal. Vishal, what's the latest information that we have? And are the authorities at the moment calling this an incident, some sort of a terror attack?
Not really. So far as the latest reports are concerned, they have quoted some officials of the New York Police Department, but the department itself has not come out with an official statement. So the reports say that about 10 to 11 people have been injured in this mass shooting. There's a trend in the US that whenever there is a big occasion such as the New Year or Christmas or even during the weekends, these incidents sort of spike up. Maybe the scale of the incident is probably bigger this time, but mass shootings do happen on the weekends in the US. So the thing to be noted here is that even though there has been a spate of incidents in the US in the last 36 hours, starting with New Orleans, then Cybertruck explosion in Las Vegas, and now this in New York City. So, but all of these incidents are yet to be connected. Especially the first 2 incidents, there's some kind of connection to the fact that both the vehicles were rented from the same application, Tura, to be precise. And the third incident now in New York City, as we've been reporting that. About 10 to 11 people have been injured, but reports are also saying at the same time that none of the injuries are, life-threatening, and almost all of the injured people are expected to survive. So far, the New York Police Commissioner and the New York Police Department, they have not come out with an official statement. These are US media, local media that's reporting that about 10 to 11 people have been injured, and this happened in Queens. which is inside New York City, and this was sort of a really big nightclub. About 4,000 people could be accommodated into the facility. So this is still an active situation, and we'll get you more reports as and when they come.
Right, information just trickling in on this particular incident. Vishal, thank you so much for joining us with the latest on that. Of course, one of the big stories that we've been tracking since morning, it's about this vehicle attack in New Orleans, in which at least 15 people have reportedly been killed and over 30 others injured. And the FBI is investigating it as an act of terror. The driver of the vehicle was killed in a firefight with police following the attack on Wednesday. And the FBI has in fact said that they found an ISIS flag inside the attacker's truck. And what they've also said is that 2 officers were shot and are in stable condition in this incident. The man who's the main suspect on your screens there has been identified as an army veteran, Shamsuddin Jabbar. The FBI rather, is of course looking at probing any sort of an ISIS angle which emerges from this following the flag, the ISIS flag, which was found in his truck.
I'm not going to comment till I speak to the group later. I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration.
The suspect, a U.S. citizen, he was 42 years old, and he was a veteran involved in some non-combat services with the U.S. Army. He did provide some IT services to the U.S. Army over the period of the last 10 years. We do know that he was enrolled to be part of a naval program, a program with the Navy in 2024, for which he was discharged honorably from this service as well, because he did not show up on time. Now, from his previous services from the Army also, it has been reported that he has been discharged honorably. So the person is in question, although a U.S. citizen, but his roots belong to the Bangladesh, to Bangladesh. So his ethnicity is Bangladeshi, but he was a born and raised U.S. citizen who was born and raised in Beaumont, Texas, and settled in the Houston area of Texas. Apart from the IT services that he did for the U.S. Army, he also was a realtor and did some real estate business in the Houston area. Now, also what we know about that, the New Orleans authorities have been, from the longest time, suspecting something on these lines was supposed to or was going to happen. And I think the authorities did mention that at about 2017, they were really anticipating, and they thought that something like this could happen. Somebody would go on a rampage and would run over people. And it's been 7 years, and they were still thinking about implementing something in place which could cordon off a barricade off the very busy area of the French quarters. Now, what we know about this suspect is that he rented a car from Turo, from the app Turo, and he rented the car from Texas, and he drove about 6.5, 7 hours all the way to New Orleans. And the FBI actually, right after this incident, the FBI got into action, and upon inspecting the vehicle, they do say that they did find some active IEDs.
Now, a horrific incident unfolded outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas on New Year's Day. A Tesla Cybertruck exploded in flames, killing 1 person and injuring at least 7 others. Witnesses captured the dramatic footage of the Cybertruck engulfed in flames just steps away from the hotel entrance. The explosion occurred mere hours after another deadly attack in New Orleans, which we have, of course, been reporting. Elon Musk, Tesla CEO and advisor to President-elect Donald Trump, has in fact said that as per preliminary investigations, the blast was caused by fireworks or a bomb in the truck's bed, unrelated to the vehicle's design or the truck itself. In fact, Musk went on to say further that the suspect had picked the wrong vehicle for a terror attack, as the Cybertruck was, according to him, able to contain the explosion to a large extent. Tesla is further investigating the matter internally as well. In fact, earlier, my colleague Divya spoke to Professor Rohan Gunaratna, a professor based out of Singapore.
Thank you so much, sir, for speaking with us. When we talk about the year that started on a very tragic note, and one can't help but question if there's any link between the two incidents that have taken place on the United States on the very first day of the new year.
It is very likely that both the incidents are linked because the renting of the vehicle came from the same company. Of course, it is now being investigated, but what is significant for all of us to know is that ISIS, or the Islamic State, is still able to recruit people from the migrant and the diaspora communities in the Western world and get them to conduct attacks in countries that they have lived for such a long time and also served in their own militaries. That means religious extremism is still a very significant challenge. And to rise to this occasion, it is very important for the religious leaders to be co-opted by the educational institutions so that, and also to work very closely with government, to work with the media organizations. If you take the case of Samsudeen Jabbar, he served with the US military. He served in Afghanistan. He worked, he had a family in the United States, but still he was susceptible, vulnerable to that radicalization. So this trend will continue unless there is significant investment on the part of government, on the part of the religious institutions to curb and curtail religious fanaticism that is driving a very tiny segment of our communities worldwide.
So when we talk about the timing of this attack on a day when people are optimistic and hopeful of a peaceful and harmonious year ahead, and also given the fact that this is in the transition period between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who will be taking office later this month, and also, you know, when we talk about the location of that Cybertruck, it was right outside a Trump hotel, and it, you know, they used a Tesla car, which is of course, you know, the CEO of that company is a Trump supporter and an advisor as far as Donald Trump is concerned.
The terrorists always want to send a clear message, and the messaging was perfect. That is, they selected two locations that will create an impact and that will endure throughout the Trump administration. Trump himself said that Jabbar came from Mexico, but he did not. He's an American citizen from Texas. So radicalization from within the United States remains significant. And of course, it is an impact. The terrorist attack is not only the physical side, but the psychological impact. People are traumatized, people are affected because it took place at the most crucial day.
Shifting focus now, and a Bangladesh court has denied bail to Hindu priest Chinmoy Krishna. Remember, the priest had been booked in a sedition case in November last year for allegedly disrespecting the Bangladesh flag. The priest's legal team is now planning to move a high court in Bangladesh.
ये बहुत दुखद खबर है। हम जानते हैं कि पूरे विश्व की नज़र इस हियरिंग पर थी और सभी लोग आशा कर रहे थे कि 9 वर्ष में चिन्मय कृष्ण प्रभु को मुक्ति मिलेगी, वो आज़ाद होंगे। लेकिन 42 दिन के बाद भी जब ये आज हियरिंग हुई तो उनके बेल को रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया। लेकिन एक पॉजिटिव खबर ये है कि एटलीस्ट आज उनके जो 10-11 लॉयर थे, वो आज वो लोग उनके पक्ष में खड़े होकर कोर्ट में उनका पक्ष रख सके। बांग्लादेश गवर्नमेंट को इंश्योर करना चाहिए कि चिन्मय कृष्ण प्रभु को जस्टिस मिले। तो ये जो खबर आई है बहुत ही दुखद है।
For more on this, I'm joined by my colleagues Saurabh and Ghazali. Ghazali, coming to you first, what's the information that we have in terms of the court hearing today?
See, the lawyers argued in favor of Mr. Das that he was not actually instigating somebody or he was not disrespecting the flag, because the actual allegation is that during the counter protest after the Sheikh Hasina regime fell and when the persecution against minorities increased in Bangladesh, he was the one who was a leading voice opposing all this persecution and attack on places of worship for the minorities as well as the minority community in particular. But the court was perhaps not convinced with the argument of the lawyers representing Mr. Das. He was represented by 11 lawyers, some of them very senior lawyers from Supreme Court. But the larger picture here is, Tanima, that despite all the diplomatic pressure and intervention by India, we saw our foreign secretary visiting Bangladesh. He even met Mr. Muhammad Yunus, the advisor of the interim government. He in particular raised the issue of the persecution of minorities, hinting towards this particular case. But the response from the Bangladesh government, even then, they had issued a statement saying that perhaps Chinmoy Das is a citizen of Bangladesh, the court will take a fair view of the entire case. And yet, it appears that perhaps if we go by the court records right now, it seems that the court didn't align with the views of what the Indian government or the entire Hindu community was praying for, and he has been denied the bail yet again.
Right. Ghazali, stay with us. Let me bring in Saurabh now. Saurabh, contextualize the whole update for our viewers. We've seen the kind of protests that have taken place, not just in Kolkata, but also in other parts of the country regarding this particular issue. There have been protests which have taken place in Bangladesh as well over this entire aspect of the Bangladesh government being allegedly unfair to the minorities in the country.
Well, you know, I mean, this is something that has been going on, and whether it's the education or whether it's government services, there has been a steady stream of reports from Bangladesh where minorities, especially Hindus, have been singled out, whether it's jobs, whether it's education, often being asked to step down. There was a report yesterday where an individual was, dragged out of its home. That's been caught on CCTV camera. So there are multiple incidents that have been reported, and of course the Bangladesh government has said some of these incidents are unrelated or are fake, but then there are enough and ample number of cases which have taken place to suggest that it's not, a one-off isolated incident, but a part of a series of incidents that have taken place targeting the minorities in Bangladesh. Specifically coming to Chinmoy Krishna Das's bail plea, what has happened today in the sense is expected, because even today when we were speaking to experts in the morning, the perception was that a lower court would not grant bail in a case of sedition, notwithstanding the fact that obviously this is a trumped up charge, as many experts have pointed out, that there is in no way what Chinmoy Krishna Das was doing amounted to sedition, that he was organizing gatherings demanding protection of minorities, and that under any definition of the law cannot be termed as sedition. So obviously this is a trumped up charge, but what is happening so far is that he was not being able to put his side forward in court or argue the points in court. Now, Apurva Kumar Bhattacharjee, who was leading the team today, was actually able to argue and put forward some of the arguments. Now, under what circumstances, we are yet to know. Was he able to make his arguments? Because remember, last time Rabindranath Ghosh was pushed inside the court.
Right.
So obviously, all of these things have happened. But what he can do now is he can at least appeal to a higher court.
Right.
That is something that avenue has opened up with this hearing, and the court announcing its decision to reject his bail plea.
Right, so the legal process is going to move forward in this case. Saurabh and Ghazali, thank you so much for joining me on this story. And the Bangladesh's army chief, General Waqar-uz-Zaman, has said in an interview that ties with India are based on give and take, while China is a partner in Bangladesh's development. Now, Zaman said that Dhaka would not take any action inimical to New Delhi's strategic interests, as India was an important neighbor, but emphasized that ties need to be based on fairness This was Aman's first interview since the ouster of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India on 5th August and remains in New Delhi. Hasina left the country following 2-month-long student-led demonstrations against a controversial quota system, which soon spiraled into a call for her resignation. Right, shifting focus now to the national capital, and ahead of the Delhi elections, there's more war of words which is going on between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Now, in the latest Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has written to Delhi Chief Minister Atishi and has alleged insensitivity by the Delhi government towards farmers in the national capital. To this, Atishi has in fact hit back. The Delhi Chief Minister has in fact also questioned BJP's record on farmers and said that farmers have suffered under the BJP government. For this, I am joined on the broadcast by Pradeep Bhandari of the BJP and Huda Zariwala, who is a political analyst. Coming to you first, Mr. Pradeep Bhandari, we can see, of course, that the back and forth in a way, or the political barbs have of course increased as expected ahead of the elections. But in this particular case, now we see that there are comments being made by union ministers about the Aam Aadmi Party's track record as far as farmers is concerned.
Well, the reality right now is that as we speak, the Supreme Court few days back had rapped the Punjab government of Aam Aadmi Party for not negotiating and talking to the farmers, Mr. Dariwala, who continues to sit on a hunger strike demanding the Punjab government for the adequate compensation for farmers. The reality is that the Aam Aadmi Party's government, in whether it is in Punjab or in Delhi, has in the last many years since it is in power not provided the required per capita income to the farmers. The reality is that even in Punjab in particular, the farmers have been languishing with their demands, and Bhagwant Man's government has not done anything. So whether it is Delhi or Punjab, the Aam Aadmi Party only believes in politicking the issues of farmers. They raised the same issues in Haryana, and the farmers of Haryana voted resoundingly for the Bharatiya Janata Party because they understood that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress Party only does politics. So the letter by the Honorable Union Agriculture Minister is in this context, and if you travel to the outer Delhi and the constituencies where farmers are in domination, you will see that basic facilities have not been provided in those constituencies.
Okay, let's give a chance to Huda Zariwala to respond. You heard what Pradeep Bhandari said, essentially in the backdrop of the fact that the Punjab government have been unable to break the deadlock with the farmers who are protesting, and the BJP has now doubled down in a way, suggesting that the Aam Aadmi Party has not been able to show the requisite response that is needed to the farmers' demands.
Well, obviously, Aam Aadmi Party is one that believes in the welfare of the people, and that includes the farmers as well. Now, Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji has written a letter to Atishi ji, but he fails to forget that the major distress of farmers is in the very region of Madhya Pradesh and the surrounding areas, which is a little ahead in Maharashtra. We've seen the plight of the Marathwada farmers. We've seen the plight of the farmers in Madhya Pradesh. There is rampant corruption in Madhya Pradesh as far as the trickling down of the policies and the benefits that are supposed to be for the farmers in Madhya Pradesh. That happens on a vast level. There's so many crops that die because of the pests and diseases. There's a problem of soil degradation, and access to the local markets for the farmers to sell their product at a subsidized rate. Excuse me, is a challenge that the Madhya Pradesh farmers have been facing time and again. The farmers' protest, which is an issue of the national level, is still not tackled. The farmers still haven't got the right price. The MSP issue hasn't solved. All of these concerns have to be addressed on not just a state level, but also the national level, which the BJP doesn't believe in doing, which the central government has been ignoring for way too long now.
Let me go back to Pradeep Bhandari. So, Mr. Bhandari, Huda Zariwala there pointing out that while there may be misgivings that the farmers have as far as the Punjab government is concerned, they have a lot of demands which even the centre has not been able to address yet.
Well, on the 1st of January, the beginning of the English New Year, it is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government which announced the compensation for the farmers, and the first decision of the cabinet in 2025 was for the farmers. The reality is, if you see the parallel, on the 1st of January, Mr. Kejriwal decided to do politics by writing a letter to the RSS chief. The union government decided to do welfare for the farmers by announcing the cabinet decision which would benefit more than 4 crore farmers. I again reiterate that the Aam Aadmi Party government is in Punjab and in Delhi. The farmers in Punjab are languishing. In fact, as we speak, Mr. Dhariwala, the Supreme Court even acknowledged that the Aam Aadmi Party government is not talking to the protesting farmers, not providing them the adequate hospital facilities, and this is the reality of the AAP government. This is why they were rejected by the farmers in Haryana, and even in Maharashtra, the Congress party was rejected.
All right. We are running out of time on this, but I'll give Huda Sariwala a chance for a quick response. Ms. Sariwala, please.
Well, the BJP clearly does not, understand that the farmers have been underplied for way too long now. And, due to the varied cause of corruption, which includes a lot of excessive regulations, the discretionary power of the center to, call shots on entire, the effects and the benefits that the farmers would have gotten, the weak rule of law under all of this, the ineffective regulatory systems, and of course, the big one here, which is the monopoly of the government-controlled institutions on certain goods and services delivery. So there's essentially a lack of culture of transparency and accountability, which the BJP, foregoes every single time. There is no accountability on their part, and the BJP does mere lip service. There has been no benefits given to the farmers whatsoever so far, and there's an absence of effective policies and benefits that the farmers will get to see, and we do not see the BJP taking the cause of the farmers anytime sooner.
Right. Pradeep Bhandari, Huda Sariwala, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Staying with news from Delhi, and the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party have launched aggressive poster campaigns against each other in a way to sway public sentiment ahead of the Delhi Assembly elections. The BJP's alleged that AAP is resorting to voter fraud in a bid to retain power. And the party shared a poster of Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal alleging that there are multiple fraud voter entries. And the BJP, of course, described this as a new game by Kejriwal to rig votes. But Aam Aadmi Party has, of course, maintained that it is the agenda by the BJP and has praised Kejriwal's leadership. Take a look at the reaction coming in on this.
अरविंद केजरीवाल मैंने कल भी कहा विषय से भागते हैं। वो भ्रष्टाचार पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो गंदे पानी पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो बिजली पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो टूटी सड़कों पे बात नहीं करेंगे, अपनी चोरी और शराब के घोटाले पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो इधर उधर की बातें करेंगे। आप हमें इतना बताइए कि दिल्ली को 10 से 12 सालों में जो तुमने बर्बाद किया है, उसका जवाब, उसकी जवाबदेही आपकी है या नहीं, इसका जवाब दें। दिल्ली की सरकार क्या कर रही है, ये देखने का विषय है। दिल्ली की सरकार ने सिर्फ लूटने और छलने का काम किया है।
Right, so this is, of course, the latest war of words that we can see in the national capital, and the political heat, of course, in the capital, while the temperature outside might be very cold, but the political heat in the capital has gone up ahead of the assembly elections likely to take place in a few weeks from now. And we can see that there's, of course, a poster versus poster battle going on in Delhi, where the BJP has in fact come out with the latest series of posters against Kejriwal, especially on the issue of alleged voter fraud in the national capital, while the Aam Aadmi Party, remember, in this entire matter has claimed that due to the BJP's insistence, voters' names are being deleted from lists in several constituencies, and but the Aam Aadmi Party, of course, has maintained that the BJP, of course, calls this a voter fraud issue. Right, let's go across. We'll shift tracks now, and this is, of course, in context to the Punjab farmers, the farmers in Punjab protesting at the Kanori border. Farmer leader Jagjit Singh Daliwal's indefinite strike has entered the 37th day today. And the latest coming in from the Supreme Court, which says that the farmer leaders' hunger strike can continue, but that there should be some sort of a medical assistance which should be given to Mr. Dalewal in a way, and Punjab and Haryana, Punjab government has been asked to file a response. In fact, they have maintained in court that they are still negotiating with farmers to break the deadlock, especially for Mr. Dalewal to end his hunger strike. For more on this, let me go across to my colleague Nupur. Nupur, what's the latest that's coming in from the top court?
Yes, today again the Supreme Court has asked the Punjab government to convince Dalewal to accept medical help. While Punjab government has again informed the court about the continuing log jams and has said that Dalewal has kept a condition that he will only accept medical help if the centre agrees for a talk. But today Supreme Court made certain big observations about the Punjab against the Punjab government as well as the other farmers who are protesting there. The Supreme Court said that asked the Punjab Attorney General if the Punjab government has actually informed the farmers that the court has constituted a committee to reach a conciliation, and it also remarks that Punjab government's approach does not seem like that they want a reconciliation in this case. So this comes in as a very strong observation, and the court has said that their primary concern in this case for now is Dalewal's health, as he is a leader who is not politically aligned to any party. The Supreme Court has remarked this while hearing the case, and their concern is only to first get medical help to medical assistance to Dalewal, and he can continue his fast after that. And any other thing the Supreme Court said is ready to hear farmers, is ready to hear the case, and but still Punjab government asked for more time, as they said that they're trying to convince Dalewal to accept help. So now the case will be taken up again on Monday.
Right.
And the court will seek a compliance report from Punjab government for hospitalization of Dalewal.
Right. Nupur Dogra there. Thank you so much for joining us with that. Now, National Conference leader and Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah today expressed optimism regarding the restoration of statehood in the region. Jammu and Kashmir, of course, was stripped of its special status and statehood and bifurcated into two union territories back in 2019. Restoration of the special status was one of the key promises made by the National Conference leading up to the assembly elections in J&K. And Omar Abdullah, in the press conference today, has once again said that he is pushing to fulfill this particular poll promise and hoping that the centre restores statehood in Jammu and Kashmir soon.
हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि जम्मू कश्मीर का यूटी रहना ये एक टेम्पररी फेज है, वक्त की बात है। जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों ने बढ़ चढ़ के अक्टूबर के इंतखाबात में हिस्सा लिया। अब हम जम्मू कश्मीर के बाशिंदे, हम जो यहाँ के रहने वाले जो हैं, अब हम उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि इलेक्शन में लोगों ने हिस्सा लिया, अब उसका कुछ ना कुछ तो लोगों को इसके बरक्स मिलना चाहिए। और सबसे बड़ा वादा जो जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों के साथ अगर मरकज़ी हुकूमत ने किया है, वो जम्मू कश्मीर को दोबारा रियासत का दर्जा वापस देने का वादा है। तो हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि इसमें वक्त नहीं लगेगा। वैसे भी अगर आप देखें तो लगभग 1 साल पहले जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 370 के मामले में अपना फैसला सुनाया था, तो उस वक्त स्टेटहुड को लेके उन्होंने कहा था कि एज सून एज पॉसिबल, मतलब जितनी जल्दी हो सके। अब 1 साल हो गया है, तो हम तो मानते हैं कि 1 साल जो है वो एज सून एज पॉसिबल के लिए काफ़ी है और जल्द से जल्द जम्मू कश्मीर को रियासत का दर्जा जो है वो वापस मिल जाएगा।
I'm joined by Nazir Masoodi for more on this. Nazir, we have seen Omar, in fact, making a number of attempts, in a way pushing the centre to restore statehood in J&K. He recently met Amit Shah, the Union Home Minister, a few weeks back here in the national capital as well. So if you can just list out all the efforts that Omar Abdullah has particularly made in the recent past, in a way pushing forth with his statehood plea to the centre.
While Omar Abdullah did talk about his meeting with the Prime Minister and Home Minister and other leadership of the central government, he said that Prime Minister himself told he respects the mandate given by the people, and also the Home Minister, he reiterated that thing and said they will restore the statehood and there will be no effort to destabilize the J&K government. He was responding to certain questions if there are any attempts. And he said rather centre and Home Minister and Prime Minister have promised him that the whatever support they were giving to the Lieutenant Governor over the last 5 years or LG administration, they will continue that kind of central government support to the elected government as well. And he said that he hopes that central government will respect this mandate in terms of, restoring the statehood as soon as possible, as the directions given by the Supreme Court, Constitutional Bench of Supreme Court on 11th of December in 2023. So more than 1 year, and Omar Abdullah asked how soon is as soon as possible, as SC had asked the center to restore statehood. So statehood restoration appears to be the center to his discourse. Besides that, he talked about governance issue. He talked about reaching out to the people. He talked about reopening the press club, rather restoring the press club in Srinagar, which was shut during the center rule here, and he talked about why journalists have not been given accreditations. He talked about how this government response to the recent heavy snowfall, electricity, and all the governance issues. And largely, there was issues about the dual control, the authority he has and the authority Lieutenant Governor, as he was trying to say. It is a new experience for him after being a Chief Minister of full-fledged state, now being Chief Minister of Union Territory. It's a new experience.
Nazir Masoodi, thank you so much for joining us with that. Shifting focus to Rajasthan now, and there's a man-animal conflict being reported in tiger territory. 3 people, including a woman working in the villages in field in Rajasthan's Dausa, suffered injuries after being attacked by a tiger. Now remember, there are 3 tigers from Sariska Tiger Reserve who have gone astray. Sariska Tiger Reserve has a total of 42 tigers. And there are videos also on your screens that you can see of the tigers which were sighted at Dausa. For more on this, let me go across to my colleague Harsha Kumari Singh. Harsha, what's the latest in terms of efforts to track down and recapture these tigers and send them back to the Tiger Reserve?
Well, yes, the Forest Department team is actually focusing on this tiger, which is near Bandikui. And as you can see, this tiger is roaming around in the field. In fact, it was crouched in a mustard field. And when the Forest Department team came close to the tiger, in that bolero, the tiger actually rushed out and, sort of climbed onto that bolero camper. So it was a very frightening experience for the team which was inside the bolero. Apparently, the windows or the windscreen of that vehicle got shattered. And the people inside had a narrow escape. Now, since this particular tiger, which is about a 3-year-old male, is still roaming around in that area, which is in Bandikui, it's somewhere halfway between Dausa and Jaipur. Since that tiger is very close to human habitation, the first priority is to tranquilize it and take it back either to Sariska or release it somewhere else. As far as the other 2 tigers are concerned, they are in forest areas. They have strayed out of Sariska, but they are in forest areas, so there is no immediate danger to human habitation. This particular tiger, as you can see, he's probably frightened. He's also aggressive because he's frightened, and he has already attacked 3 people. And he has attacked that forest camper as well. So, given this kind of a situation, there is a worry, and the forest team is working overtime. They are camped there. Senior forest officials are camped there, and they are trying to tranquilize the tiger.
Right. Harsha Kumari Singh, appreciate you joining us with that. On that note, we'll be heading into a short break. News and updates will continue right here on NDTV.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
(2024), the year that was, when India welcomed Ram. When India decided,
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी,
when Jammu and Kashmir turned a historic leaf,
as Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir,
when India mourned, when India celebrated, when India protested, When India felt proud. When India scaled new highs. NDTV brought it all to you. Your trusted news destination. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much war.
Welcome back. Now, asserting that debates in the dressing room should not come out in public domain, India head coach Gautam Gambhir has said that he has had some honest conversations with his players and emphasized that only performance can help them stay in the setup. Amid reports of unrest in the dressing room, Gautam Gambhir sought to douse the fire by declaring that they were just reports, not truth. Gambhir was addressing the pre-match press meet ahead of India's fifth and final test against Australia in Sydney on Friday. Gambhir also said that he did not have any discussion with senior batsman Virat Kohli and skipper Rohit Sharma except for strategies on how to win the test matches.
And honesty is the most important thing for any transition. And it is not about phasing out senior players or getting the youngsters in. Ultimately, the only thing that can keep you in that dressing room is the performance. And it starts from all of us. Not only from the players, from the coaches as well. Look, there is only one tendency and there is only one discussion. That it's the team first, it's the team first ideology that matters. It's a team sport and you've got to play what the team needs you to do. That's as simple as it can get. People can play the natural game, but still, in a team sport, individuals only contribute. It's the team. If you need to play in a certain way, I think you've got to do it. Every hour matters. And that is what the beauty of Test cricket is, because that's the only probably format where conditions changes after every day. Situations changes after every day, so we've got to keep fighting. And that's why every one of us love watching, playing, being part of the Test cricket. I know we got to fight it out, and that's probably one area where we've lacked in this series, and that's one of the reasons why probably we lack in this series as well. But again, I think we had a really decent first inning in Melbourne. Hopefully we can take that confidence from there and try and get it to Sydney. We had a decent first inning in Melbourne. We know we've got the skill set, we've got the individuals, we've got everything in that dressing room that can win a test match here. Not only here, probably go on to do some unbelievable things in future as well. So extremely confident.
My message is always just to back yourself, have really clear plans and back your decision making. I mean, it's always the preferred position, but you go into every test match trying to win. So it's no doubt no different this week. But again, really happy with the last three test matches, how the boys have played. We've shown that for most of it we've kind of been the front runner, and that's kind of the aim again this week is keep it up.
How does a coach handle or should handle situations, Atul, where individuals are not aligning with the team's objective? I'm not calling out any player right now in Indian team, but what happens certainly in such stages?
If we look back, Kapil Dev was dropped by playing a bad shot against England, and that was the only aberration in his career. So I think if somebody doesn't adhere to what is required, and I think these players have played such, so much amount of cricket all over the world in all formats, they know. I mean, the coach doesn't need to tell them because they just had to bat out a session. And if you play these flamboyant shots, this is not T20. You're not trying to impress or, don't want to get this wow factor. And you just have to bat dirty. And I think if Rishabh Pant has done it a few times, we all know that he's genius, he's a brilliant player. But he has to realize because now he has got this onus on him because we are relying on him. And after that, if he cannot shift a gear, then either he does that or he has to be reprimanded. And why not play Jurel tomorrow?
Right. Mr. Atul, does this news or speculation of Virat and Rohit's retirement affect the team in any way? Plus, the Aussie media is also going after key players.
Not really. I think we have to take a leaf out of Australia's cricket, because even Steve Waugh, Mark Taylor, everybody got a tap on the shoulder. They've been told that, okay, we want to rebuild the team. Either you retire now or you announce your retirement. So everybody used to announce the retirement before a series, saying that, okay, this will be my last match. Not just after a match. You'll never see an Australian, a great player, do that. So I think their succession policy is very clear, very transparent, and we have to do similarly.
Right. Atul, my colleague Rika is also with me. Yes, Rika, please go ahead.
Atul, interestingly, in the press conference, Gautam Gambhir chose to douse the fire by declaring that what came out were just reports, not truth. Gautam himself has been a part of the media. He's been a TV analyst. Do tell us, does Gautam Gambhir really believe what comes out is not truth and it is just reports?
But what was so drastic about that? Because what he said was perfectly okay. Because as a coach, if you just lose 7 wickets in a session and lose the test match, whatever he said was valid. And why does he have to retract that? I don't understand. Because if he had said something,
that's exactly what I'm asking you. Why did he have to retract?
I don't know. That's why I'm surprised. Because the media pressure and all that. I think he should be more stern and more harsh. I think because what he said was very, very obvious that you have to pull your weight and this is not done. But now the point is that we are almost at the cusp of ending this test season. So what good that will do, we'll have to see.
Would you say that Gautam Gambhir is trying to save his position in the Indian cricket team by retracting on his statement?
I don't know that if this is going to help, because if he has to go, he has to go. But, the record is that probably we were hoping and praying that he gels well with the seniors and, the transition is good. He's a good coach. I think he's got the right, ethos. But sometimes, when you've got big stars, we remember what happened with Greg Chappell. So maybe, sometimes you have to find a middle ground.
For more, I'm joined by my colleague Osama. Osama, we can see that there's been a lot of buzz about Gautam Gambhir, especially after the Melbourne Test and India's dismal performance there. But he seems to have, in a way, dug in his heels and also, in a way, answering back his critics as well as sending a message to Team India.
Absolutely. And from what I understood from that press conference, Tanima, is it was a little necessary as well, because as Atul Vasan was also mentioning, when you lose 7 wickets in just one session, when you have the acumen and when you have the opportunity to finish that game and probably win that game and get a 2-1 lead in the series, and you're not able to do that, it also comes down to taking that responsibility. And how you navigate through that is something that the players can only do, and the coach can only guide you through that. But another important thing that he mentioned in that particular press conference was when he was asked about Rohit Sharma, and both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, they haven't been in the greatest of form in this particular series, especially the skipper. And when he was asked about him, he just refused to confirm whether Rohit will be part of the playing 11. And that is something that says a lot about Gautam Gambhir as a person as well. There are a lot of questions. Doesn't the captain just straight in walk into the team? Isn't the captain and the coach who decide who plays and not the other way around? So these are very important questions that need to be answered, and this intrigue that Gautam Gambhir left in that press conference is something that all the fans will now have to wait and watch. And India, remember, they rarely reveal the playing 11 before the test match. So this is not something that is new. Him not confirming whether Rohit Sharma is going to be a part of the playing 11, that is something that everyone is picking up on. But as far as the entire debate over the seniors not performing and this team going through a transition phase, Gautam Gambhir probably needs that sense of authority where he can dictate those terms, and that is something that he's trying to do. He has always been that person as a player, as a coach. We have seen that in the recently concluded IPL, the last year's IPL, where he took a couple of calls that were not very popular, and yet managed to click and yet managed to win that IPL. So that is something that he has always believed in, and something that has always worked for him. But when you speak about the national team, when the stakes are really, really high, and especially when you consider this particular series, if India had won this series 3-1, we would be playing in the World Test Championship final. And that is not happening unless India wins the Sydney Test and a couple of other results go India's way. India will not be playing in the World Test Championship final, and that is something that probably is going to hurt a lot of Indian fans as well.
Osama there, thank you so much for giving us context to this and background to this entire story coming in from the sporting world. Now, shifting focus to the Mahakumbh and preparations for it in Uttar Pradesh. All preparations are currently underway for the Mahakumbh, which will begin from January 13th and conclude on Mahashivratri after 45 days on February 26th. Now, the Uttar Pradesh government has announced that it will provide uninterrupted power during the course of the 45-day mega cultural event. The UP government has decided to install solar-powered street lights for the first time to reduce energy consumption, and these hybrid solar lights are being installed throughout the area in Prayagraj and at all major intersections there. In fact, with these installations, even in the event of a Paka, there'll be no darkness in the Kumbh area. My colleague Himanshu has more details.
Around 40 crore pilgrims are expected to assemble here in the Mahakumbh Kshetra to take the holy dip between 13 January and 26 February, and to ensure an uninterrupted 24-hour power supply. A mega electricity plan has been prepared by the Mela administration. To talk more on this, I have with me Manoj Gupta, who is the superintending engineer in charge of the electricity operations. So मनोज जी, ये केबल्स क्या हैं, इनका कैसे इस्तेमाल होगा?
एक्चुअली पूरे मेले में इसकी जो प्लानिंग होती है, यहाँ पे एसटी लाइनें, एलटी लाइनें, सब स्टेशनों का निर्माण किया जाता है। ये पूरा एक अस्थाई शहर है जो लगभग 4000 हेक्टेयर में बसा हुआ है। इस अस्थाई शहर को 24 घंटे बिजली आपूर्ति देना, इसमें तमाम कैमरे लगे हुए हैं जिनको 24 घंटे अनवरत बिजली देनी है। लगभग 4,25,000 कैंपों को हम संयोजन देंगे जो मेले में आएंगे। विभिन्न अखाड़ों के लिए हमने अलग व्यवस्था की है। हमने इस पूरे मेले क्षेत्र में जो करीब 2 महीने के अंदर ही 1405 किलोमीटर एलटी लाइनें बनाई हैं, जो आप समझ सकते हैं कि 2 महीने के अंदर 1405 किलोमीटर लाइनों को बनाना और उन सब पे 67,000 एलईडी स्ट्रीट लाइटों की स्थापना करना है। इसके अलावा मेले में निर्बाध विद्युत आपूर्ति रहे, जिसके दृष्टिगत हम लोगों ने 182 किलोमीटर एसटी लाइन बनाई है 11 केवी की।
और साथ ही केबल्स रखी है मनोज जी, ये कौन सी केबल, इनका क्या इस्तेमाल?
ये बेसिकली एलटी केबल है। जो भी हमारे अखाड़े होते हैं या बड़ी संस्थाएं होती हैं, उनको 24 घंटे कनेक्शन परिवर्तक से देने के लिए इन केबलों का इस्तेमाल होता है। इसके अलावा हमारे पास 11 केवी की XLP केबल का भी इस्तेमाल किया जाता है, जो कि 3 3x185 स्क्वायर mm की होती हैं। इन केबलों के माध्यम से हम मेले क्षेत्र में 30 पांटून पुल बनाए जाएंगे। लगभग 10 पांटून पुलों से हम इन केबलों को इंटरकनेक्ट करते हैं ताकि मेले में जो हम 7 132 kV से आपूर्ति ले रहे हैं, उसके साथ साथ 14 33/11 kV सब स्टेशन से आपूर्ति ले रहे हैं। इन पूरे का एक रिंगमेन सिस्टम बना हुआ है। रिंगमेन सिस्टम इसलिए कि यदि किसी भी तरह का किसी भी क्षेत्र में ब्रेकडाउन हो तो दूसरे क्षेत्र की आपूर्ति दूसरे क्षेत्र में RMU के माध्यम से पहुंच जाए।
We'll be slipping into a short break at the moment. Stay tuned to NDTV.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
Reports of mass shooting emerges from New York. Shooting reported outside a New York nightclub. At least 10 people reported to be injured. Third tragic incident reported at the turn of the new year in the United States. FBI probes ISIS angle in the New Orleans vehicle attack, which killed 15 people. New Orleans attacker identified as an Afghan war veteran. Bangladesh court denies bail to Hindu priest Chinmoy Das. 11 Supreme Court lawyers had appeared on his behalf in court. His legal team says they will appeal in the High Court. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah in a press briefing reiterates his statehood demand, says that he hopes the centre will restore statehood in Jammu and Kashmir soon.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
Are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
2024, the year that was, when India welcomed Ram. When India decided,
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी,
when Jammu and Kashmir turned a historic leaf.
As Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir.
When India mourned. When India celebrated.
Yeah. Go hard. Go hard.
When India protested. when India felt proud. When India scaled new highs. NDTV brought it all to you. Your trusted news destination. Yesterday, today and tomorrow.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
Reports of mass shooting emerges from the United States. We're talking about New York City, where shooting has been reported outside a New York nightclub in the Queens area. At least 10 people were reported to have been injured as they were shot upon. This is the third tragic incident that's being reported as the turn of the new year in the United States. In another attack in the United States, FBI probes the ISIS angle. This attack that took place in New Orleans, in which 15 people have died and 35 others have been injured. The attacker has been identified as an Afghan war veteran. Bangladesh court denies bail to Hindu priest Chinmoy Das. 11 Supreme Court lawyers had to appear on behalf of his lawyer, who has been hospitalized and was not able to be there in person. Now the lawyers are saying that they will appeal in the High Court. Omar Abdullah in a press briefing for the first time since he took charge of the Chief Minister of the state. In fact, now he has gone on to say that statehood is the demand. He hopes that the centre will restore statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. And stray tigers out on a prowl. We are talking about a tiger attacking the forest vehicle in Dausa of Rajasthan. So the forest government on the trail of the three tigers which strayed out of the Sariska Tiger Reserve. The troubled tiger seen targeting the forest department team. Mega electricity plan for the Mahakumbh, over 400 crore rupees of mega electricity infrastructure, and it is the government that's saying that there'll be uninterrupted electricity over the 45 days of the Mahakumbh that's going to be taking place in the state of Uttar Pradesh. A very good afternoon. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Vadva. We have a whole lot lined up for you, including our top story, that is the Bangladesh court that's gone ahead and denied bail to the Hindu priest Chinmoy Krishna Das Brahmachari. Remember, the priest has been booked in a sedition case in November of last year to allegedly disrespecting the Bangladesh flag. A team of 11 lawyers participated in his bail hearing as his own lawyer could not make an appearance in court. He has been hospitalized. The priest's legal team is planning to move to the High Court now in Bangladesh. To remember, following the rejection of his bail plea on the 26th of November, clashes erupted between protesters and the police outside the court premises, resulting in the killing of an advocate.
ये बहुत दुखद खबर है। हम जानते हैं कि पूरे विश्व की नज़र इस हियरिंग पर थी और सभी लोग आशा कर रहे थे कि नव वर्ष में चिन्मय कृष्ण प्रभु को मुक्ति मिलेगी, वो आज़ाद होंगे। लेकिन 42 दिन के बाद भी जब ये आज हियरिंग हुई तो उनके बेल को रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया। लेकिन एक पॉजिटिव खबर ये है कि एटलीस्ट आज उनके जो 10-11 लॉयर थे, वो आज वो लोग उनके पक्ष में खड़े होकर कोर्ट में उनका पक्ष रख सके। बांग्लादेश गवर्नमेंट को इंश्योर करना चाहिए कि चिन्मय कृष्ण प्रभु को जस्टिस मिले। तो ये जो खबर आई है बहुत ही दुखद है।
And to get more on this, we have my colleague Saurabh Gupta joining us. Saurabh, was this on expected lines?
Yes, if you've been hearing experts from Bangladesh, what they've been stating is that given that Chinmoy Krishna Das has been booked for a charge like sedition, the chances of bail in a lower court are very slim. In fact, it's almost certain that the case will go to a higher court, in this case, the High Court. Now, that's something that opens up only now, because earlier what was happening is that it could not go to the High Court also because this case was languishing in this court, but the matter was not being heard. Lawyers were being threatened, nobody could appear for him, and that was absolute subjugation of the process of law, due process of law. Now, notwithstanding that many call this a trumped up charge and a false fabricated allegation, the fact is that obviously now at least the lawyers will have the opportunity to appeal before the High Court, and that is something that one hopes where Chinmoy Krishna Das will get bail, because what Chinmoy Krishna Das has really been demanding and for which really he came into attention was organizing gatherings to demand protection of minorities, mainly the Hindu community in Bangladesh, which has come under attack and continues to be under attack even yesterday. So obviously there are several incidents that have been highlighted in the Indian press and international press as well that are clearly indicative of the kind of situation that prevails there. And therefore in that context, the bail being rejected is not something that's a huge surprise, given the fact that many legal experts opine that it would be near near certain that the lower court wouldn't grant bail. But it also opens up the avenue for appeal in a higher court, and the process of law has to follow. And that's exactly what people have been demanding. Justice for Chinmoy Krishna Das and the process of law, something that's been, so far held up because of threats of violence, etc.
Right, Saurabh, thank you so much for getting us all those details. We also have Brahma Chelani, strategic affairs expert, joining us to get us more on this. Sir, would you say the absence of his lawyer who has been hospitalized perhaps has impacted the outcome of this bail hearing?
Well, the first thing to remember is that in Bangladesh today, there is no rule of law. In Bangladesh, the interim regime forced out the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and the 5 next senior most justices of the Supreme Court. This has had a chilling effect on the judiciary. Then there have been thousands and thousands of arrests. Just in 1 week in October, according to official counts, more than 7,000 political detainees were locked up. So given the scale of arbitrary arrests and given the manner in which the judiciary has been completely suborned, it's no surprise that Chinmoy, the Hindu monk, who had been leading mass protests against the persecution of the Hindus, has been denied bail. In fact, the regime has succeeded in its objective by jailing Chinmoy, the Hindu monk. Before his arrest, he had organized massive demonstrations against the violent attacks on the Hindu minority, and those demonstrations were internationally covered. And that was an embarrassment to the interim regime, which has the full backing of the Islamists. So by jailing 20 individuals, the leader of the mass protests, they managed to achieve their objective.
Right, Mr. Chelani, also when we talk about, the Indian government, they're saying that it's hopeful of a fair and transparent trial while voicing concerns about targeted attacks on minorities at large. What is the step forward?
I think the Indian government has to speak up. There's little else that the Indian government can do. Needs to shine a spotlight on what's happening in Bangladesh, the absence of rule of law, the fact that the regime in power lacks constitutional legitimacy or mandate. If the Indian government doesn't speak up, who else will speak up? After all, there are three powerful forces backing the present regime in Bangladesh: the Islamists, the military, and the United States. Now, three very powerful forces are supporting this regime, which makes India's task quite difficult. But it makes it even more imperative for India to speak up.
Of course, this bail plea hearing took place under tight security a month after no lawyer could step in to represent the priest. But issues with his legal counsel continues. Even though there were 11 representatives today, his own lawyer could not make it.
All that is a charade, because whether he has legal representation or no legal representation, the courts are not going to give him bail as long as the regime believes that his continued incarceration is in the interest of the regime. So no court, not even the High Court, will grant him bail until the government, the regime in place, believes that his release would be conducive to restoration of peace or building of trust among the Hindu minority.
Right, Mr. Jilani, also, his lawyer has gone on to say that they will now be appealing in the High Court. What is the way forward?
You have seen recently how the Bangladesh High Court has overturned convictions. Convictions, for example, in the case of one case, there were number of people who were convicted for staging bomb blasts during a Sheikh Hasina rally years ago. Now, all the convicts have been let off by the High Court. That was just one of several shocking rulings by the High Court. All this indicates that the judiciary is now operating under such threat that no judge, not even in the Supreme Court, is willing to take an independent stance, because any judge who takes an independent stance faces the risk of the regime unleashing an Islamist mob against him.
Right, Brahma Chalani, thank you so much for speaking with us and breaking it down for us as to what is the step ahead and what can we expect. The bail plea of the Hindu priest that has been rejected for the second time in Bangladesh's court. And staying with news from Bangladesh, the Army Chief General has said in an interview that ties with India are based on a give-and-take relationship, while China is a partner in Bangladesh's development. Now, Zaman has gone on to say that Dhaka could not take any sort of action against New Delhi's strategic interests, as India was a very important neighbor, but emphasized that ties need to be based on fairness. This was his first interview since the ouster of Sheikh Hasina, who fled to India on the 5th of August and remains in New Delhi. Hasina left the country following the 2-month-long student-led demonstrations against a controversial quota system, which soon spiraled into a call for her resignation. Switching tracks to the United States now, and a video has emerged showing the New Orleans attack. There's a security camera footage of the attack that took place in New Orleans. The video showing the truck speeding into the crowd, and this is a video that's gone completely viral on social media. This truck was a Tesla truck, which this is a truck that in that New Orleans video, in which 15 people have died and 35 others were injured in this attack that took place in New Orleans.
I'm not going to comment until I speak to the group later. I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration.
And to get more on this, we have my colleague Vishal joining us. Vishal, finally that footage that has emerged, this new footage that's gone completely viral of that attack that's taken place in New Orleans, which caused the death of 15 people and 35 others that were injured. Of course, in that truck, there was an ISIS flag that has been found. Of course, this is being called an act of terror. Get us the details that you have for us in terms of, there have been multiple incidents that have been reported on the very first day of the new year in the United States.
So a lot of videos are coming in at the moment. There had been videos that suggested that people were injured. There were some really bad injuries. There were some really graphic videos that were constantly shared on social media. Those visuals can't possibly be seen, can't possibly be displayed on our screens, but there have been many visuals that suggest that people were mowed down mercilessly. A lot of people had really grievous injuries. They were just, waiting to be, dead. So the injuries were so bad that some people had, twisted their arms in a very unconventional manner, and it was all over the internet for a while now. Now these videos have also emerged that the truck is going through the crowd and plowing down people mercilessly. And the latest is that the authorities are investigating whether what's the exact location of the guy who's responsible for this whole incident, where he stayed. He possibly lived in Texas. He grew up in Texas, and he worked for an MNC and also went on to serve in the U.S. Army. So there are a lot of details that have emerged. At the moment, the authorities are also investigating whether or not the incident is tied with the Las Vegas incident involving the Cybertruck explosion. So there are various angles to be covered here. So all of that will come in the next few hours when the U.S. wakes up. As far as the latest reports are concerned, 15 people are confirmed dead and over 30 people are injured at the moment.
Right, and of course the authorities that are investigating the matter are saying that it doesn't seem like it was a person who has conducted this on his own, that there were more people involved. There was a flag that was found inside, and of course Donald Trump there saying that the danger that comes from people who come from outside, and he's spoken about that they're far more dangerous than the people who live within the country. To get us details of the person who has been shot down in this incident, the man behind the wheels.
Yes, so the man has been identified so far as a 42-year-old who grew up in Texas, and he served in the army in Afghanistan. He was not in a combative role there. He was reportedly in a technical role there, but nonetheless he served there. He's a war veteran, and as I mentioned earlier, he has worked for an MNC, particularly Deloitte. And some reports have also quoted Deloitte representative as saying that he indeed worked for the company. So that's a confirmation on that. And several other details are also emerging. As you mentioned, the ISIS flag was reportedly found from the site, from inside the truck, which was used to mow down those people. And there have been reports that say that actually Biden on the record said that the FBI had informed him that the perpetrator had uploaded some videos on social media, showing his appreciation and support for ISIS, the terrorist group, and sort of indicated that he was planning this. So all of that details are emerging, and authorities are constantly tracking these things as we speak. So far, as I mentioned earlier, 15 people have been killed and more than 30 have sustained injuries.
Right, Vishal, this is a very crowded, very buzzing street, the Bourbon Street, where this has taken place. Get us details of what was really happening. What time did this incident take place? And of course, people out and about on the first very day of the new year in order to celebrate the beginning of 2025 that led to such a huge tragedy. And of course, this is not just one off incident that's taken place in the United States. Multiple incidents are being reported.
That is correct. So as it was the first day of the year, people were going about their lives, trying to celebrate. It's a day of, inspiration and resolution. People strive to do, people make a list of the things they want to do for the whole year. All of that was disrupted when this perpetrator mowed down so many people. And you can see in the videos that it was a very crowded area. he didn't really have to swerve his way around to kill people. He just mindlessly mowed down many people, and 15 as a result died, and more than 30 have been injured. So far that's what we have. But as far as the authorities are concerned, as I mentioned, the security apparatus of the U.S., they are all trying to explore what's the intent, what's the exact motive behind this attack, whether or not this guy was actually supported by the ISIS group, or he was just inspired by the ISIS group. So those are the two different angles that the authorities would be trying to explore. So that's the angle that will probably come up in the next 7 to 8 hours when the US actually wakes up.
Right. Thank you so much, Vishal. And this was followed by another attack that took place not just in New Orleans, but an attack that took place outside a Trump hotel in Vegas, followed by an attack where 10 people were in fact attacked. They were shot upon in New York City. So multiple attacks coming in from the same very day, the first day of the new year. Moving on now to the national capital, and it's the agriculture minister that has written to the chief minister of Delhi and has alleged insensitivity. The Aam Aadmi Party government has been insensitive to farmers, is what has been written by the Union Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who has written to Atishi attacking the Aam Aadmi Party government for not implementing the centre's schemes for the farmers, saying that the Aam Aadmi Party is very indifferent. And Chauhan has also even gone on to say that the party that's been in power for the last 10 years, yet the government has not implemented farmer-friendly schemes that the central government has been providing. And the war continues between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party in the run-up to the elections that will be held here in the national capital. Well, the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party have launched aggressive poster campaigns against each other to sway public sentiment ahead of the elections coming up in Delhi. The BJP has alleged that the Aam Aadmi Party is resorting to voter fraud in a bid to retain power, but the party has shared a poster of the Aam Aadmi Party chief alleging that multiple fraudulent voter entries ranging from ages 40 to 80 were registered at a single address without the home owner's knowledge. The BJP describes this as a new game by Arvind Kejriwal in order to rig votes.
अरविंद केजरीवाल मैंने कल भी कहा विषय से भागते हैं। वो भ्रष्टाचार पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो गंदे पानी पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो बिजली पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो टूटी सड़कों पे बात नहीं करेंगे, अपनी चोरी और शराब के घोटाले पे बात नहीं करेंगे, वो इधर उधर की बातें करेंगे। आप हमें इतना बताइए कि दिल्ली को 10 से 12 सालों में जो तुमने बर्बाद किया है उसका जवाब, उसकी जवाबदेही आपकी है या नहीं, इसका जवाब दें। दिल्ली की सरकार क्या कर रही है ये देखने का विषय है। दिल्ली की सरकार ने सिर्फ लूटने और छलने का काम किया है।
मेरी पत्नी ने अपना वोट कटवाने के लिए आवेदन 4 जनवरी 2024 को दिया। 4 जनवरी 2024 को यह आवेदन दिया जिला निर्वाचन कार्यालय सुल्तानपुर। ये वोटर लिस्ट है। मैं भेंट कर रहा हूं और वीरेंद्र सचदेवा और उनकी पार्टी को और मोदी जी को, इसमें मेरे माताजी का नाम है राधिका सिंह, पिताजी का नाम है दिनेश सिंह। इसके अलावा न मेरा वोट है न मेरी पत्नी का वोट है।
And my colleague Ishika is joining us to get us more on this. Ishika, of course, you've been reporting on the war between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party in the run-up to the elections. And of course, we're going to see this on a daily, in fact, hourly basis. But this time around, it's a poster war that's escalated.
Well, yes, as you rightly mentioned, since the Delhi polls is just round the corner, 2025, the start of this new year, has in fact escalated the poster war between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Today morning, in fact, BJP again, raising the issue of fake votes, had in fact released, rather issued a poster against Arvind Kejriwal saying that he loves fake voters, and in fact going on to allege that the senior leader of the Aam Aadmi Party, Sanjay Singh, his wife, both of them have been registered in numerous constituencies here in the national capital. Now, not just that, saying that the mayor of Delhi in fact has also registered himself in more than one constituencies in the voter list. So this is the allegation that is coming from the BJP side against senior Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh, and going on to say that that is why the Aam Aadmi Party, or in fact, Sanjay Singh and his family in particular, will never talk about the fake voters issue. On the other hand, in fact, we are seeing that the Aam Aadmi Party has also released a poster on Arvind Kejriwal saying him the greatest of all times when it comes to calm ki Rajniti. Now, it is the Aam Aadmi Party that goes on to say that it will be the people who laugh at the BJP if they make fun about Arvind Kejriwal, because he has delivered on every promise that he has made. In response, the BJP has said that, for the last 10 years, nothing has been done, and it is the voters of the national capital that are now asking him that show us your report card for the last 10 years. So the poster was certainly has escalated over this, and the politics is only set to intensify. Over to you.
Right, thank you so much, Ishika, for joining us with those details. Switching tracks now to more news, and the news coming in as far as the farmers' protest that is continuing on the Kanori border is farmer leader Jagjit Singh Dalewal's indefinite hunger strike that's entered the day 37. Groups leading the protest say that they will not relent unless demands are met, as the deadline to shift Dalewal to hospital ended today. The Supreme Court heard the matter, and it's the Punjab government that's gone ahead and said that negotiations are underway with the farmers, and the top court has said that the farmers' protest can continue with medical assistance, while also asserting that no harm should come to farmer leader Dalewal, and has asked Punjab and Haryana officials to file a response. The next hearing will be held on the 6th of January. My colleague Nupur Dogra has the details.
The Supreme Court made certain big observations about the Punjab against the Punjab government as well as the other farmers who are protesting there. The Supreme Court said that as the Punjab Attorney General, if the Punjab government has actually informed the farmers that the court has constituted a committee to reach a conciliation, and it also remarks that Punjab government's approach does not seem like that they want a reconciliation in this case. So this comes in as a very strong observation, and the court has said that their primary concern in this case for now is Dalewal's health, as he is a leader who is not politically aligned to any party. The Supreme Court has remarked this while hearing the case, and their concern is only to first get medical help to medical assistance to Dalewal, and he can continue his fast after that. And any other thing, the Supreme Court said, is ready to hear farmers, is ready to hear the case, and but still Punjab government asked for more time, as they said that they're trying to convince Dalewal to accept help. So now the case will be taken up again on Monday.
Right.
And the court will seek a compliance report from Punjab government for hospitalization of Dalewal.
Right, thank you so much, Nupur, for getting us all those details. Switching tracks now to Karnataka. News coming in of 5 people who have been injured after a bus that tilted in Karnataka. This bus that tilted while avoiding a tanker passengers, the vehicle that broke the windows in order, they had to break windows in order to escape that route. Well, this is news coming in from Karnataka of 5 people who have been injured. 5 people have gotten hurt in that very shocking incident that's come to light of the bus that overturned. As you can see visuals on your screen of that bus that overturned in Karnataka. It overturned while it was trying to avoid a tanker. The passengers needed to break the windows in order to get outside that bus that had tilted on the road. My colleague Nihal joining us. Nihal, get us details of the shocking incident which has come to light. What is it that really happened that led to this bus to overturn, and it was the passengers who were so badly trapped that they needed to break the windows in order to come out?
The police sub-inspector who is on the spot, he told me a few moments back that around 10:30 a.m. today, this incident happened at Manikatta Cross. It is very close to Bagalkote city. It is the rural part of Bagalkote. This bus was, while coming to the city, tried to avoid a fast-moving tanker that was coming to Bagalkote from Benur, and in order to avoid it, it skid and it toppled also. And luckily, it was not full with passengers. That is why only 2 passengers, what the police sub-inspector told me, sustained minor injuries, and they were taken to the nearby hospital. There they were given first aid and they have been discharged. Now the tanker, the fast-moving tanker who was over-speeding, the driver has been arrested and he is being interrogated.
Right, thank you so much, Nihal, for getting us all those details. With that, we're slipping a very short break. Back with a whole lot more. To stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
Are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith, the world's biggest spiritual festival, the divine dip at the spiritual Sangam, a sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
2024, the year that was, when India welcomed Ram. When India decided,
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी,
when Jammu and Kashmir turned a historic leaf.
As Chief Minister for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir.
When India mourned. When India celebrated. When India protested. When India felt proud. When India scaled new heights. NDTV brought it all to you, your trusted news destination. Yesterday, today and tomorrow.
Welcome back. Let's get you the latest as far as Delhi police is concerned and their crackdown on illegal immigrants. Now, a racket has been busted and 4 people have been arrested by the Delhi police. 2 of those 4 people who have been arrested are Bangladeshi nationals, while the other 2 are said to be Indian nationals who have been arrested in the case. The men used to facilitate the illegal entry, and there are 12 Bangladeshis who have been arrested and deported so far. So this is a gang that has been busted, responsible for the illegal immigration. the illegal immigration racket that has been busted, and 4 people have been taken into custody by the police here in the national capital. 2 of those are Bangladeshis, while 2 are said to be Indians. The men used to facilitate illegal entry, and 12 Bangladeshi people have been arrested and deported so far. So this is the latest that we are getting. Breaking news coming in regard to the crackdown as far as Delhi police is concerned. Do remember that they have arrested and deported a Bangladeshi national living in India under fake documents in the ongoing crackdown as far as illegal migrants is concerned. This person was arrested from the Vasant Kunj area. He was residing without any authentic documentation as well. Let's listen into what the police has to say.
AATS ने एक ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग इलीगल इमिग्रेंट बांग्लादेशी जो भारतवर्ष में लाते थे उस रैकेट का पर्दाफाश किया है। मुझे बताते हुए खुशी हो रही है कि माननीय उपराज्यपाल के आदेश पर जो दिसंबर माह में स्पेशल ड्राइव चलाई गई थी कि दिल्ली में इलीगल इमिग्रेंट्स जो रह रहे हैं स्पेशली बांग्लादेशी उनको चिन्हित किया जाए और उनके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाए। इस श्रृंखला में हमने 2 मॉड्यूल पहले बस्ट किए थे, एक संगम विहार में जिसमें करीब 5 बांग्लादेशी डिपोर्ट कराए थे, उनके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की थी, और उसी FIR की फर्दर फॉलोअप में हमने 7 बांग्लादेशी अर्जनगंज फतेहपुर बीरी से गिरफ्तार किए थे और उनको डिपोर्ट कराया था।
Anushka joining us to get us more on this. Anushka, take us through the latest development when it comes to the crackdown by the Delhi police in regard to these illegal migrants.
Well, certainly what we are seeing is that in a major crackdown, the Delhi police has deported 12 illegal Bangladeshi immigrants so far. Last year, as in December, in fact, 11 people were deported, and right now also this time around, the Delhi police has successfully arrested 4 illegal immigrants, in which 2 people are husband and wife who were involved in illegal human trafficking, and 2 people were also there who were facilitating and making fake documentation of people who used to enter India through donkey route. The main accused is absconding so far. His name, is in fact also being taken so far. And also the Delhi police is saying that the person is absconding, but he is a Bangladeshi and he has been to India so many times, and that is why he has a deep knowledge of the donkey route, and that is how he was in fact, deporting people to India. And, from Meghalaya, they were taken to India. And so far, the Delhi police, with the directions of Delhi LG, have been, launching this drive. So several people have been, in fact, identified, and actions are being taken by the Delhi police. Because we were also seeing that a lot of political, accusations were going on within the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. The police has, in fact, joined CP, has in fact said that there has been so far no link established between all the 12 cases that any of them were involved from either of the party, the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party. Also, what the joint CP has said that this is an ongoing launch. There is also a Bangladeshi cell that has been, in fact, sensitized and is, in fact, actively working in identifying the Bangladeshi people. So far, amongst the 12 people who have been deported, only 4 people are caught with the voter ID card. And the police has also said that all of those people have been caught with just their Aadhaar card and PAN card, which are fake and, were forged by the people who were in fact facilitating all of them to come to India. And also, none of the voter ID cards were used actively for voting purposes in India. Back to studio.
With all those details. Switching tracks now to J&K, and its National Conference leader and Jammu and Kashmir's Chief Minister Omar Abdullah today expressed optimism regarding the restoration of statehood to the region. Jammu and Kashmir was stripped of its special status and statehood and bifurcated into 2 union territories in 2019. Restoration of special status was a key promise in the National Conference's election manifesto. So the Chief Minister there addressing the media today for the first time as he has taken office of the Chief Minister. He addressed this this media conference after becoming the Chief Minister for the very first time, and has said that will fulfill all poll promises, and that he's very hopeful as far as the statehood is concerned, and that will be restored to the region of Jammu and Kashmir. Let's listen in to what the Chief Minister had.
हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि जम्मू कश्मीर का यूटी रहना ये एक टेम्पररी फेज है, वक्त की बात है। जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों ने बढ़ चढ़ के अक्टूबर के इंतखाबात में हिस्सा लिया। अब हम जम्मू कश्मीर के बाशिंदे, हम जो यहाँ के रहने वाले जो हैं, अब हम उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि इलेक्शन में लोगों ने हिस्सा लिया, अब उसका कुछ ना कुछ तो लोगों को इसके बरक्स मिलना चाहिए। और सबसे बड़ा वादा जो जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों के साथ अगर मरकजी हुकूमत ने किया है, वो जम्मू कश्मीर को दोबारा रियासत का दर्जा वापस देने का वादा है। तो हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि इसमें वक्त नहीं लगेगा। वैसे भी अगर आप देखें तो लगभग 1 साल पहले जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 370 के मामले में अपना फैसला सुनाया था, तो उस वक्त स्टेटहुड को लेके उन्होंने कहा था कि एज सून एज पॉसिबल, मतलब जितनी जल्दी हो सके। अब 1 साल हो गया है, तो हम तो मानते हैं कि 1 साल जो है वो एज सून एज पॉसिबल के लिए काफ़ी है, और जल्द से जल्द जम्मू कश्मीर को रियासत का दर्जा जो है वो वापस मिल जाएगा।
Right now, switching tracks to the United States, and multiple attacks have taken place on the very first day of the new year. To begin with, there was an attack which took place in New Orleans, in which the video that you're seeing on your screen has gone completely viral. This is the latest video of that attack that took place, in which 35 people have been injured, 15 people have died in an incident, that shocking incident in which a man who used his car in order to run people over. In this incident, the man has now been shot dead. He is said to be he did serve in the Afghan army, is what we are hearing. And of course, when we take a look at these visuals of how many people were hurt in this attack that took place on the very first day of the new year. There was an ISIS flag that was found inside the vehicle. There was another incident which took place outside in Vegas, outside a Trump hotel, in which 7 people have been injured and 1 person has died. This involved a Tesla cyber truck which exploded. There was another attack that's taken place in New York City on the very same day, in which, as far as this attack is concerned, it happened right outside a nightclub in the Queens area, in which there were at least 10 people who have been injured and were rushed to the hospital. To know more on this in regard to the terror attacks that are taking place, that is what the government is saying, that it doesn't seem like it was an incident that took place on its own and a sole person was responsible, especially when it comes to that attack that took place in New Orleans. Now, at least 10 people have also been injured in that mass shooting that took place outside that nightclub in New York's Queen area on the very first day of the new year. To know more on this, we also have with us Dr. Punasara Amar Singhe, a commentator on geopolitics and security studies and of the Faculty of Law, joining us. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on NDTV. When we take into account that there wasn't 1 but 3 incidents that have been marked on the very first day of the new year, one can't help but question if there was any link between these incidents.
Yeah, actually, we cannot take them as just lone wolf attacks. And I think the biggest the challenge that might come into the face in the United States is the fact that this happened just a couple of weeks prior to the inauguration ceremony of the President Donald Trump. And when you look at the expansion of the jihadi ideology and ISIS ideology for past few months since Trump's departure, we can see that there has been quite a loophole in the American security architecture. So, as an expert, as a commentator, a frequent commentator in the geopolitics and international security, my take is it's going to be quite critical time ahead for the administration of the President Trump, as he has to confront the rise of the Islamic and ISIS revival ideology in the United States. So basically, I don't want to get into the details of what happened in the New Orleans on the very first day of this year. But if you can recall how President Trump was confronting and defeating the ISIS terrorism. When he took over from the President Barack Obama, it was spectacular. We know what happened to Baghdadi. We know what happened in the Benghazi in Syria. The Trump administration successfully decimated the ISIS ideology and ISIS terrorism globally. But what happened after that was something much more questionable, because the American administration, who the one who came after Donald Trump, could not. They were rather reluctant, or they were not in a proper position to continue that momentum of the security. Especially having said that, I must emphasize the recently there has been a slight amendment from the President Trump's policy mechanism that he's going to have a huge budget cut over FBI. That is going to be, again, it's going to be detrimental. It's going to be a bit of a challenging scenario for the American security, because as we know that it is the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who plays a dominant role in the counterterrorism activities within the United States of America. And then even in recently, they found out, they uncovered a plot to assassinate President Trump with the support coming from the Iranian regime. So all in all, what I can say is that this is not just a lonely wolf or black swan event. I mean, this could be a quite a challenging scenario in the days to come due to two reasons. First thing is that there is a trend of the right-wing politics going on in certain states of the United States of America that leverages the Islamophobic values, Islamophobia, among the American civil society. Even if you look at the culprit who conducted this series of attacks on the 1st of January, he happened to be a war veteran, right?
A war veteran, sir, with an ISIS flag found inside the vehicle. And of course, what kind of messages is giving out, given the fact that the other attack, the Cybertruck case which took place in Vegas, also involved a Tesla vehicle, where, of course, that points fingers towards, the association that Donald Trump has with Elon Musk. Its location right outside a Trump hotel in Vegas, of course, also raising concerns there as well.
I think implicitly speaking that has been the pattern of the attacks perpetrated by ISIS for past 5 years, since the inception of that terrorist organization, even in Sri Lanka in 2019, after the Easter attacks, right? We found out the flags, and just 2 days prior to the attack committed, the ISIS attackers in Colombo released a video pledging the allegiance to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, right? This flag and the ISIS outfit, these are all the symbols of the ISIS ideology. And even though, even though Baghdadi got killed in 2019, even though ISIS has lost a lot of strongholds in Syria, and elsewhere in Iraq, we can't completely ignore the fact still the potential threat is ongoing, right? ISIS is just, it's something like an iceberg. It can always expose its tips. So this incident is one remarkable example elucidating that how ISIS lone wolf attackers, individuals, especially those who are depressed, those who are not rehabilitated, can come forward. The leadership is destroyed, the key members are destroyed, but still the ideology continues to be alive in the United States, even in Europe, especially when it comes to the emergence of the right-wing populist politics led by people like Trump, right? So United States, the public society, the United States, the public administration can be a larger platform to spread such radical ideologies. So probably and also we can't completely forget the fact that United States, the policymakers in the long run will engage with the proxy war, not only with the ISIS, even from the Houthis and also some other terrorist groups supported by the Iranian.
Right, of course, this is at a time when President Joe Biden has gone on to say that such acts will not be tolerated on any community whatsoever. And of course, Donald Trump on the other side is saying that this is what it's very indicative of the people who are coming from outside the country and how they have been attacking the country, and they're more dangerous than the ones who live there. And, Donald Trump has gone on to say that this is something that wouldn't happen under his watch. Let's just also get more details on this in regard to, in the run-up to President-elect Donald Trump taking charge as the President of the United States all over again. Is this a time when there, this seems to be a very volatile time, given the fact that the perception that people have of Donald Trump over that of Joe Biden?
Absolutely. It's a great showtime for him, because during Joe Biden's era, we need to understand that there was a huge increase of the green cards, and also the Joe Biden was a globalist by nature. So Joe Biden allowed a lot of expats to come and settle in the United States. But this is not going to be maintained by the president-elect Donald Trump, because the Trump himself has clearly indicated that the United States has been vulnerable as a result of the migrants, immigrants coming from all over the places. So this attack is kind of a bolstering, it's a motivating factor for Donald Trump to put huge and severe restrictions upon the immigration. So at the same time, the bad side of this attack, which we need to consider about, is the fact that it might widen the gap in the American society. We don't need to recall what happened in 2020 after the death of the George Floyd, which finally paved the path for the loss of Donald Trump. So I would say that history is going to be repeated, because once Donald Trump comes back to White House with all these formidable, the right-wing political experts, he's going to opt for more restrictive, more cautious mechanisms on the immigrants, by just based on these events like New Orleans or Vegas.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Punsara, for joining us with all those details and breaking it down for us as to the run-up to the U.S. elections, where there is going to be a change of guard, and we are seeing, on the very first day, multiple attacks that have taken place in various cities of the United States, from New Orleans to Las Vegas and New York City, all these areas which are bustling on the very first day of the year and have come under an attack. Well, switching tracks now to breaking news coming in, and it is the Madras High Court that's coming down heavily as far as the Anna University case is concerned. The High Court has gone on to say that the assault case is being politicized, and there's literally no focus when it comes to real issue at hand, which is women's safety. So the High Court is saying that the focus should really be on what needs to be done going forward in regard to the safety of women in the city and in the state of Tamil Nadu. But we have Sam Daniel joining us. Sam, take us through the proceedings in court, and it is the High Court coming down heavily as to what is really happening after this assault case, that the case is just only being politicized and no lessons are being learned here.
Divya, this observation was made by the High Court Judge Justice Vel Murugan when Patali Makkal Katchi, an ally of the BJP, had mentioned about the Tamil Nadu police denying permission for the PMK to hold a protest in Chennai on the sexual assault of a woman student in Anna University case issue. It's in this context the judge observed that the issue is being politicized and there is no concentration on ensuring women's safety. And the court, in that sense, at least at that point, did not give any nod for the PMK's protest. And this happened on the 23rd of December when a woman student on campus was sexually assaulted by an outsider. And police so far have arrested one person. Investigations underway. Meanwhile, the Madras High Court has also constituted a 3-member special investigation team, all-women team, to investigate the issue. And the opposition has been pointing out that this issue is a reflection of declining law and order in Tamil Nadu. But the ruling DMK has been denying, saying that in 5 hours, the alleged perpetrator has been arrested. Investigation is underway, and they've been saying that discussion is underway with university authorities to make sure strengthening of security would be done and this will not repeat. It's in this context when one after another political parties are trying to hold protests in the city. The court has made this observation, Divya.
Right. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us with those details. And let's just switch tracks now and get you the latest in terms of Rajasthan in the man-animal conflict that's been reported from the Sariska Tiger Reserve, which has a total of 42 tigers, but 3 have strayed out of the Tiger Reserve. While 2 tigers have travelled to forest areas, 1 tiger has travelled towards Dausa, where it has already attacked 3 people. The forest department teams have not managed to tranquilize the tiger yet, and videos have emerged which shows a tiger attacking the forest department team. The vehicle of the forest department team was attacked. Reports suggest that 3 tigers are young males which have strayed out in search of territory. 2 tiger reserve teams from Ranthambore and Sariska and a team from Jaipur are on the trail of the tiger.
The forest department team is actually focusing on this tiger which is near Bandikui. And as you can see, this tiger is roaming around in the field. In fact, it was crouched in a mustard field. And when the forest department team came close to the tiger, in that bolero, the tiger actually rushed out and, sort of climbed onto that bolero camper. So it was a very frightening experience for the team which was inside the bolero. Apparently, the windows or the windscreen of that vehicle got shattered. The people inside had a narrow escape. Now, since this tiger, this particular tiger, which is about a 3-year-old male, is still roaming around in that area, which is in Bandikui, it's somewhere halfway between Dausa and Jaipur. Since that tiger is very close to human habitation, the first priority is to tranquilize it and take it back either to Sariska or release it somewhere else. As far as the other 2 tigers are concerned, they are in forest areas. They have strayed out of Sariska, but they are in forest areas, so there is no danger, immediate danger to human habitation. This particular tiger, as you can see, he's probably frightened. He's also aggressive because he's frightened, and he has already attacked 3 people. And he has attacked that forest camper as well. So, given this kind of a situation, there is a worry, and the forest team is working overtime. They are camped there. Senior forest officials are camped there, and they are trying to tranquilize the tiger.
Thank you so much, Harsha, for joining us with all those details. Switching tracks now to Team India, that was hosted by the Australian Prime Minister just ahead of the 5th and final border Gavaskar Trophy test. Hosting the Indian and Australian players was Anthony Albanese just ahead of that 5th test. Well, the Prime Minister jokingly suggested a law that forces India's pace spearhead to bowl left-handed or off for 1 step against the home team. This is what he had to say about Jasprit Bumrah.
Welcome Rohit Sharma and your magnificent team. You have lifted up our whole country through your presence here, and you are very welcome guests.
Australia is a beautiful country to travel, but a tough place to tour. Probably one of the toughest tours for any sportsman. The crowds have been absolutely amazing. We've got another test match to go. Hopefully we can entertain the crowd the way we've entertained over the course of last 4 test matches. Finally, thank you very much for hosting us again. Happy New Year.
Anthony Albanese there hosting the Indian and Australian players on the first day of the new year. With that, we're slipping a short break. Back with a whole lot more. Stay with us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
And Kashmir turns into winter wonderland with the temperatures there dropping at most places in Kashmir as cold conditions have triggered their grip on the valley. Shopian in South Kashmir was one of the coldest places, so with the mercury there dropping to minus 10.2 degrees Celsius.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
We are able to maintain the democratic fabric and the democratic system.
I want to do something that can make a difference.
लगातार जनता की आवाज को सरकार तक पहुंचाने का काम मैं करता हूं.
I was a student up until very recently. I really want to work and do something for my people because they have given me this opportunity. They have elected me.
सोचा नहीं था कि राज्यसभा सांसद बनूंगी.
Mahakumbh, a festival of faith. The world's biggest spiritual festival. The divine dip at the spiritual Sangam. A sacred confluence of faith, culture and heritage. NDTV's mega coverage of the Mega Fest. NDTV at Mahakumbh 2025.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Adati Bhardwaj and let's take a look at the top headlines that we're tracking here at this hour. Andhra Pradesh government reacts on the US allegations against Adani Green. The Andhra Pradesh government says no action is going to be taken so far as there is no concrete proof. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister says, I don't indulge in vendetta politics. In a setback, Bangladesh court denies bail to Hindu priest Chinmoy Das. Supreme Court lawyers had appeared on his behalf in court. Lawyer says will appeal in High Court next. FBI probes ISIS angle in the New Orleans vehicle attack which killed at least 15 people. New Orleans attacker identified as an Afghan war veteran. Chilling viral video of the attack has been accessed by NDTV. And reports of mass shooting emerges from New York. Shooting reported outside a New York nightclub. At least 10 people reportedly injured in the incident. Third tragic incident reported at the turn of the new year in United States. And Madras High Court makes big observation in the Anna University sexual assault case. Says case is being politicized and no genuine focus is on women's safety by political parties. Forest Department is on the trail of 3 tigers which strayed out of Sariska Tiger Reserve. Troubled tiger seen targeting Forest Department teams and villagers.
And now Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu has commented on the allegations in the US against former Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy and Adani Green. He said there will be no action on Adani Green till there is concrete proof. For more on this, my colleague Uma Sudhir is joining me. Uma, take us through the exact statement of Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister.
So what Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu has said is that they cannot just vindictively, for the sake of political kind of a revenge, they are not going to be cancelling any kind of contracts until such time that they do not get any concrete proof. They are not going to be taking any kind of a punitive action. He has also pointed out that unilaterally cancelling contracts is going to be something that will invite very, very strict penalty on the government itself. Three things that he has said. One, that the agreement with the Solar Energy Corporation of India was in fact something that was beneficial to the government of Andhra Pradesh because it was giving power at a cheap rate. The government does have the indictments that the Securities Exchange and Commission in the US has given and named a foreign official number one. But Mr. Chandrababu Naidu has pointed out that no concrete proof has really come about in this particular context, and that's the reason why they are not going to take any action as of now. And he has said that we will move as per the provisions of the law after examining the records. And this, of course, he said at the TDP headquarters in Mangalgiri. And he said also that the cancelling of contracts is not an option because they need to have proof. What I must point out is that on the 22nd of November, Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu had said in the floor of the Assembly that they could in fact consider taking action on this if the allegations were proved. But as of now, they found no reason to think that there was any proof in this matter, and therefore they are not going to take any action on this particular issue. As you would recall, between 2019 and 2024, when Jagan Mohan Reddy was the Chief Minister, is when this allegation apparently is coming about, when they are talking about some foreign official from the Andhra Pradesh government who had been allegedly paid a bribe. What the former Chief Minister, Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, had told NDTV was that this was purely between three government agencies. One was the Solar Energy Corporation of India, second was the Andhra Pradesh government, and third was the power company in Andhra Pradesh, which is again a government-owned corporation. And he has said there is no question of any private agency playing any role in this, and he had said there is no question of them coming into this tripartite contract which he had entered into only because power was being offered at ₹2.49 per unit, which he pointed out that historically has been the lowest ever price at which power has been purchased by Andhra Pradesh. And considering the fact that the state is even otherwise struggling for funds, he saw nothing wrong in the government proactively agreeing to a proposal given by a Government of India body which is